Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome to once again to all of you to the physics classes. Dear students, we were talking about work, energy and power. So today we are going to move on to the new topic, that is nothing but collisions. What do you mean by collisions? One body which collides with another. One body hits to another. One car got accident, or we can say collide with another. No, that is collision. What actually collision is? One body interact with another, and so that the change of kinetic energy and other energy form takes place. Now suppose I will consider a scenario in such a that a ball is kept here in a horizontal plane. One small ball is there at rest. I can give a simple example wherever you're using, that is in a carom board, isn't it? So carom coins are kept somewhere like this. You're giving some velocity, right? So it will give, it collides with this. It gives energy to this, it gives energy to this. So randomly they will move, and one will move in this way, no? Like that. Means that energy is transferred to these coins. Now we are going to consider only two coins. Okay, so it will gives energy, and what way it has gone, it may move. Anywhere it may move, right? It may move to the x-axis or y-axis. Means I can write down x-axis and y-axis where x-axis towards u, y-axis in this direction, z-axis. There is no movement in z-axis. But if I strike the coin, means it may move in x-axis or it may move in y-axis, or both in x and y-axis, no? Like that. So now we have collision in two dimension actually, but just we will study the collisions in one dimension. So what do you mean by collision? Collision means nothing but it is the interaction. Collision is nothing but interaction between two bodies. Interaction between two bodies, due to which the direction and magnitude of the velocity of the colliding body change. Direction and the magnitude of the colliding body will change. There are three types of collisions. There are three types of collisions. One is perfectly elastic collision or elastic collision. Perfectly elastic collision or elastic collision. What is that perfectly elastic collision? The perfectly elastic collision is that after the collision, the momentum, linear momentum and kinetic energy is conserved. The linear momentum and the kinetic energy is conserved. That is elastic collision. Elastic collision is that the linear momentum and the kinetic energy is conserved. Okay. So what it means by conservation of linear momentum? Before collision and after collision, the momentum remains constant, same, that is conservation. No, the kinetic energy, the conservation of mechanical energy. Before the process and after the process, if you calculate the total mechanical energy, that remains same. Okay. Even the same way, before the process and after the process, before the collision and after the collision, kinetic energy and the linear momentum remains conserved. That is the thing but collision, elastic collision. Next it is also called as perfectly perfectly elastic collision. It is also called as perfectly elastic collision. Next one is inelastic collision. Inelastic collision. One is elastic collision, another one is inelastic collision. What is that inelastic collision is? The inelastic collision where the linear momentum is conserved but kinetic energy is not conserved. What are the examples for this? What are the examples for the inelastic collision? The elastic collision is that, say for suppose I am having a ball, a rubber ball, I will leave it, okay, it will hit the ground and it comes back to the same height, then it is the collision between the floor and the ball is elastic because it is not lost any energy, it has gone, collided and come back. The initial kinetic energy and the initial momentum is equal to final kinetic energy and the final momentum. That is elastic collision. And now inelastic collision means I am throwing a stone to the window pane, okay, to the glass window. What happens? Initial velocity and final velocity is not same, means kinetic energy is not same, but the momentum is constant. Everywhere the momentum is constant, momentum is conserved because the force, the rate of change of momentum, what we have studied in our Newton's third law of motion, okay, everywhere the momentum remains conserved, momentum remains constant, okay. So, but what happened to the kinetic energy? You have thrown the ball to the window, then there is a sound energy, no? The smashing of the window takes place, means the kinetic energy is utilized to create some noise as well as which is utilized to break the window. Similarly, in the carom coin, if you strike the coin means there is a friction, there is a sound, that kinetic energy is utilized for that sound. That's why powder you are going to put to reduce the friction, no? And after that sound will be there, it is going to strike, that energy is converted into sound energy and little kinetic energy is given to the actual coin which you want to move. The strike coin will the strike coin will carry only some amount of energy to the desired coin which has to move, no? Because there is a loss in energy, because there is a loss in kinetic energy. That is what inelastic collision. Now we have another collision, that is perfectly inelastic collision. One is elastic collision out of inelastic collision, that is one is inelastic collision, another one is perfectly inelastic collision, another one is perfectly inelastic collision. What is that perfectly inelastic collision? The perfectly inelastic collision is that after collision the momentum is conserved. For everywhere the momentum is conserved, remember, the momentum is conserved, okay. And in the perfectly inelastic collision, perfectly, next you will say that elastic, no, see the board when I am going to write down. Later you may feel difficult to see that small handwriting sometimes, okay. And perfectly inelastic collision, no, perfectly inelastic collision, whatever I have written. The perfectly inelastic collision means what? See, Perfectly inelastic collision is that where the momentum is conserved. The momentum is conserved before and after collision, and after the collision the body will stick to the another body and they move as a single body. What I have written there? I have written a wooden block and a bullet. Now this is perfectly inelastic collision. I will fire a bullet to the wooden box which is made up of wood. What happen? It will pierce and will stick to it and both will move. There is a lot of sound energy, there is a lot of heat energy. Because of that velocity, heat is generated. Okay, some velocity used to pierce that wooden box, but still both are going to move. If they both stick together and they move, that becomes inelastic collision or perfectly inelastic collision. That is, perfectly inelastic collision between the two bodies is said to be perfectly inelastic if the two bodies after the collision stick together and move as a one body. Okay, in this collision the linear momentum is conserved and kinetic energy is not conserved. Linear momentum is conserved and kinetic energy is not conserved. Okay, that is what. So this is what perfectly inelastic collision is. Perfectly inelastic collision is. This is what the three types of collisions. One is elastic collision, another one is inelastic collision, another one is perfectly inelastic collision. This is the thing we have to go through. Okay, so next again in detail we have to study the collisions that we are going to talk in our next videos. Dear students, we were talking about collisions, and there were two types of collisions. One is nothing but three types of collision. There is nothing but elastic and inelastic. That elastic collision also we will call it is perfectly elastic collision. Elastic collision is perfectly elastic collision, and inelastic collision, there are two inelastic collision. One is inelastic collision, another one is perfectly inelastic collision. The examples we have studied, and what are all those things that we have studied. Now we are going to discuss for some of the equations, some of the things of perfectly elastic collision. What do you mean by perfectly elastic collision? One object is there which is having mass m1, another object is there which is having mass m2. Suppose it is also moving with some initial velocity u2. So here I am going to mention initial velocity is u, v is the final velocity. If u1 means it is the initial velocity of the first object, v1 means it is the final velocity of the first object, u2 means initial velocity of the second object, v2 means final velocity of the second object. While writing the derivation, those things you have to write down. Okay. Now u2 with the velocity of this, u1 with the velocity of this. If u1 is greater than u2, what happens? This is greater. This will go move and hits to this, collide with this, and after that changes takes place, and after that they will move. Isn't it? So we can write down the diagram in 2 dimensions also, that we are going to write down in the later way. Now what actually, for the perfectly elastic collision, say for example m1 u1, m2 u2, after collision m1 final velocity of v1, m2 final velocity of v2. Let consider two objects of mass m1 and m2. Let u1 and u2 be the initial velocities and v1 and v2 be the final velocities of objects m1 and m2 respectively. Now, since it is perfectly elastic collision, for the perfectly elastic collision, or we can write down for the perfectly elastic collision, for the perfectly elastic collision we have, what is that? For the perfectly elastic collision we have conservation of momentum, conservation of linear momentum. The linear momentum is conserved and the kinetic energy is conserved. So what happens? We have, so shall I erase this? I will erase this so that I have to write down. So hope you have written. So we have, for the perfectly elastic collision, we have, what is that? We have momentum is conserved. That implies m1 u1 initial momentum of the first object plus m2 u2 initial momentum of the second object, which is equal to m1 v1 final momentum of the first object, m2 v2 final momentum of the second object. Since consider object of mass m2 was at rest. Now we are going to consider, for our convenience, this was at rest, only this was moving, hitting and going away. No, m2 was at rest means initial velocity of 2 was 0. Final velocity means after collision. Before collision this was at rest. That implies m1 u1 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. No? Next, this is equation 1. 1, that implies what we are going to get? m1 bring here. So what you are going to get? So this is the things you are got. Let it be. Equation 1. Since for perfectly elastic collision, kinetic energy is conserved. That implies how we can write down half m1 u1 square, half mv square. No, here at the place of v I have written u, initial velocity, okay, square, plus half m u2 square that is initial kinetic energy of the second object, initial kinetic energy of the first object, which is equal to final kinetic energy of first object plus final kinetic energy of second object. Again we will consider do the consideration because we must do, no? Since u2 is equal to 0, we will get half m1 u1 square is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. No? This is equation 2. Half is common term here, half is common term, so I will write down here half m1 u1 square, which is equal to half m1 v1 square plus m2 v2 square. Half of cancels, so you are going to get m1 u1 square, which is equal to m1 v1 square plus m2 v2 square. Equation 1. Equation 2. Now what I am going to do, that is nothing but I can write down equation 1 that implies m1 u1, m1 v1 I will take it there, so it becomes u1 minus v1, okay, is equal to m2 v2. Equation 3. Equation 2 that implies m1 is common, this term I will bring here, so u1 square minus v1 square is equal to m2 v2 square. Equation 4. Now equation 4 divided by 3 means 4 divided by 3 we are going to get, so that m1 cancels, u1 square minus v1 square, okay, divided by u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 cancels, v2 square divided by v2, so it is cancelled, v2, so you are going to get v2. A square minus b square, a square minus b square is nothing but a plus b into a minus b, right? Okay, so what you are going to get? u1 plus v1 into u1 minus v1 divided by u1 minus v1. Make out the difference between u and v, which is written by me, okay, u, don't write down in a proper way, so u1 minus v1. So what you are going to get? One second. What you are going to get? Do it. You are going to get, what is this v2? Final velocity of the second object. This one cancels, you are going to get u1 plus v1 is equal to final velocity of the second object. This was at rest, the object comes, hits, this will move in one way, this will move in another way, so the first object gets its final velocity, that is v2, the first object will get its final velocity also. So we have written the velocity of the second object in terms of velocity of the first object, that is u1, v1 and all. Now I have an equation that is nothing but equation 3. I will erase this, that is nothing but equation 3. So what is that? This is equation 5. So equation 5, in equation 3, if you put means m1 u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 v2 is nothing but u1 plus v1 plus m2 v1. I have multiplied directly and directly I have written that step. Okay, go through it. Now what you are going to get? m1 u1 minus m1 v1 is equal to m2 u1 plus m2 v1, right? So what is our aim is to get m2 constant. So we can get the equation, we have to get the equation. See, this is final velocity of the second object is equal to the initial velocity of the first object and final velocity of the second object. So if I substitute in this way, okay, so okay, so bring this term here, that is m1 u1 minus m2 u1 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v1. u1 is common term, u1 into m1 minus m2 is equal to v1 into m1 plus m2. Now what we want? Initial velocity I know, the final velocity of the first object, that is v1 is equal to m1 minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2 into u1. v1 will be remains here only, m1 plus m2 you bring means divided by the numerator. Rearranged matter I have written. Then what I have got? I have got the expression in such a way that final velocity of the first object, final velocity of the first object which is equal to this much. Now the final velocity of the second object I can take. The final velocity of the second object I can write down, isn't it? How I can write down? By applying u1 here, that is in the equation 5. So the equation 6 is the equation 6. Now I'll erase this. I'll erase this. So v2, that is final velocity of the second object, u1 means u1, v1 means nothing but that much, that is plus m1 minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2 into u1. Multiply m1 plus m2 u1 plus m1 minus m2 u1 divided by m1 plus m2. Do that, what we are going to get? m1 into u, m1 into u. No, that is 2m1, m1's, okay, u1, isn't it? So m1 u1 plus m2 u1 plus m1 u1 minus m2 u1 divided by m1 plus m2 is equal to v2. This and this become 2 times this, and plus and minus it going to cancel. So v2 is equal to 2 m1 u1 divided by m1 plus m2. This is the expression for final velocity of the first object and the final velocity of the second object in the case of perfectly elastic collision. In the case of perfectly elastic collision. Now what actually happening in the case of perfectly elastic collision? That is nothing but one object is here m1, another object is there m2 whose velocity is 0. I am going to strike this coin, it will goes and collide with this, and one will move in this way, another will move in this way, another different way. Okay, then it will get a velocity of v1 final, this with velocity of v2 final, because v means final, u means initial. If suppose the case 1 m1 is equal to m2, m1 and equal to m2, both masses are same, which is equal to m. What happens to this? m1 m2 means v1 is equal to m1 minus m1, m2 means m1 only, right? So it is 2m, isn't it, u1. So this becomes 0 because m1 minus is 0, 0 by something is 0. If m1 m2 0, this means final velocity of the first object becomes 0. Final velocity of the first object becomes 0. But what about this? That is v2 is equal to, both are same, that is 2m divided by 2m and u1. So v2 is equal to u1, nearly equal to. What is the meaning of this? So again I am going to tell you u1 and u2 properly write down. Okay, make out the differences between u and v. Okay, whenever I have told, I have mentioned all the equations, so write down in that way itself. So what is the meaning of that? That is nothing but this was at rest, the object will come and hit, both are having same mass. When it's after colliding, the velocity of the m1 is going to become 0 and m2 becomes same as that of the initial velocity of the first object, isn't it? Means one object was at rest, another object will come with the velocity which is having same mass, collides and becomes rest, and another object, all the velocity it will take from the first object and it is going to move. No, so it comes, it strikes and it will become rest and it will move. That is what perfectly elastic collision is. That is what perfectly elastic collision is, and that is what it is happening, and that is the case we have studied. And if one mass dominates, that is m2 is very much greater than m1. Suppose this is case 1 and this is case 2, that is m2 is very much greater than m1. If suppose m2 is very much greater than m1, what you are going to get? m2 is very much greater, means there is one object m2 very large. If I draw the diagram in this way, I have to get this equation, right? So m2 is very much greater, means like this, and m1 is very small. So initial velocity is there, here initial velocity was 0, that was at rest. This will slowly come after hitting. Do you think it can move that? No, it will hit. What is going to happen? Let's see, not doing without doing imagination. Let's see according to equations what we can do. m2 is very much greater, means that is final velocity of the first object. Final velocity of the first object, that is nothing but v1 is equal to m1 minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2 into u1. That is the equation, right? This is very large. Say for example, this is 100, this is 1. 1 minus 100 is 99. So 99 divided by 101. 99 divided by 101, that is final velocity of the first object is nearly equal to u1. The final velocity of the first object is nearly equal to u1. Okay, the final velocity of the first object is nearly equal to u1. No, that is the thing. Okay, now what you are going to get? So means that, so what about the velocity of the second object? Where is that equation? That is nothing but final velocity of the second object is 2m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2 into u1, right? The final velocity of the second object is 2m1. This is very much large. The denominator is very much large, means v2 is very less. Here what happens? v2 is very less. What is the meaning? Means this object, small object, comes and collides, and it is takes the negative velocity. See, it is minus 1 minus 100 means minus, no? So negative. There is nothing but this small object comes and collides. It not going to move this object, comes back with the same velocity. That is what you were imagining, no? At the first when I asked what is going to happen, and that is the thing which happens in the case of elastic collisions, and this is what we have discussed in the case of perfectly elastic collisions. So go through the derivations, which is important expressions are necessary for your competitive examinations. But remember, for our convenience, we have taken the second object is at rest. For our convenience, we have taken the second object is at rest. But if suppose both are moving, one is faster, another one is slower, so this will come and will move, right? Then different velocity. If such is the case, what is the velocity? What is the expression? That also we have to find out in our next classes. We are going to talk about completely inelastic collision. Already we have discussed about elastic collision, and also we found the velocities of final velocities of the first object and second objects. Okay, so now we are going to talk about completely inelastic collision. What do you mean by inelastic collision? What is that we should know? So inelastic collision is nothing but, say for example, one object is there, okay, another object is there, no, this is having mass m1, this is having mass m2, okay. Now this object comes and hits to it in a completely inelastic collision. this after the collision they become as a single object and they will move. Means I have given the example of bullet and wooden box or wooden plank. So you are going to fire a bullet, it will stick to it and it is going to move together. That is nothing but inelastic, I can say perfectly inelastic collision. Now what are the things, the basic physics in the inelastic collision we have discussed? That is nothing but where the momentum is conserved. Momentum is conserved. Consider the object m1, initial velocity is u1. Consider object m2, initial velocity is u2. After collision, what happens? The object becomes m1 plus m2 and they will move with the velocity v. No? Now since the momentum is conserved, what we are going to get? Momentum m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Since u2 is equal to 0 because the second object was at rest, and after collision m1 and m2 stick together and move with the same velocity. Okay, velocity, write down. That implies final velocity of the first object, final velocity of the second object will be same, which is equal to v. Hence the equation 1 which we have written is turned into m1 u1 is equal to m1 plus m2 into v1 or v, because final velocity of that object, because both are together. Now then we can write down v is equal to m1 divided by m1 plus m2 into u1. This is the equation we have got. This is the equation we have got. Okay. Next, what we are going to get? What is our aim is to get? We are completely inelastic collision means there is a loss of kinetic energy. There is a loss of kinetic energy. Whatever the initial kinetic energy was there, that is not going to remain same as that of the final kinetic energy, but it is converted as sound energy. It were converted as different energies. That is what we are going to calculate, the loss in kinetic energy. Which is somewhat important, this derivation. Okay, so we have change in kinetic energy is nothing but loss in kinetic energy. No, if kinetic energy was same means change in kinetic energy must be 0, that is conserved, that is for elastic collision. After collision kinetic energy is not same means Their kinetic energy is converted into sound energy, heat energy and different energies. And that you have to calculate, means the change in kinetic energy you have to find out. The change in kinetic energy is nothing but final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. But I will do initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy. Why? Because initially kinetic energy was more, final kinetic energy is less. I want the change in kinetic energy, that's all. Not minus, positive, it doesn't matter for us. We want just the difference between the initial and final kinetic energy. We want just the difference between initial and final kinetic energy, so that we are going to get delta K, which is equal to initial kinetic energy of m1 u1 square plus of m2 u2 square minus of m1 v1 square plus of m2 v2 square, like this. But again we know that same the consideration, u2 is equal to 0 and v1 equal to v2 equal to v. The equation reduces to of m1 u1 square is equal to delta k, so minus of m1 plus m2 into v square, that is delta k. So what I am going to apply, delta k, which is equal to of m1 u1 square minus of m1 plus m2 into v square, means this square you have to apply, that is nothing but m1 divided by m1 plus m2 whole square, no, v square means into u1 square. Okay, so you are going to get m1 u1 square divided by 2, m1 cancels, so m1 square remaining, u1 square remaining, divided by m1 plus m2 into 2 is remaining, 1 cancels, so that you are going to get half is a common term, right? u1 square is the common term, right? So that if you take it out, what is the equation you are going to get? That is nothing but in both the ways, m1 u1 half is a common term, so delta k is equal to half, you gonna take it out, and m1 you gonna take it out, and u1 you are going to take it out, which is equal to, here it is remaining 1, isn't it? Minus half is taken out, m1 is taken out, so 1 divided by m1 plus m2. If you divide this, you must get this, no? Yes. So because, you multiply this, means you have to get this, no? Now half m1 u1 square, here m1 plus m2 minus 1, m1 is remaining here, okay, because only m1 we have taken, m1 square m1, okay, minus m1 divided by m1 plus m2. So what you are going to get? Of m1 u1 square, m1 cancels, m2 divided by m1 plus m2. Now delta k is equal to half m1 m2 u1 square divided by m1 plus m2. This is the thing. So this is in the form of k is equal to half m v square, isn't it? That is nothing but loss in kinetic energy and this loss in kinetic energy is utilized as some different forms of energies, maybe the sound energy, maybe other forms of energies, okay, like that. So that is what perfectly inelastic collision or completely inelastic collision way, the loss in kinetic energy we are going to find out in that way. The loss in kinetic energy we are going to find out in that way. This is what sufficient for today class, okay, about completely inelastic collision. Go through the derivation, that is loss of kinetic energy. You may get this for 5 marks or 3 marks for final examination, for the board examination, and you must know the formulas, what are the loss in kinetic energy took place for the competitive examination, okay. So hence it is the derivation for change in kinetic energy, or I can say loss in kinetic energy, okay, in the case of perfectly inelastic collision. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.